G'day, this is the Hawk. Hope you enjoy this radio interview with Outlaw Radio. Don't forget to subscribe. At the bottom, there's a red button. There's a link to the petition for sanctions with South Africa. There's a donation link that goes to helping people in South Africa. And my email address, should you have any information that you'd like to share with me regarding South Africa. This radio interview is more about the conservative views of most Americans and what is actually happening in the United States right before the election with Donald Trump. And some of it's a little rough, but please excuse the language. And we just want what is right and what is best for America. So please enjoy the radio show, and there's more to follow on South Africa in my next video. Sorry I've been off for a while, but had some personal issues that I had to deal with. Here's the show. Hope this sounds better than last time. Enjoy the show. See you at the end.
Of AOW Productions.
This program contains adult content. Listener discretion is advised. The views and opinions expressed by the host of this program do not necessarily state or reflect those of this station or its management.
Bringing you controversy at its best, with uncensored music, comedy, and political discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Outlaw Radio.
Guess who's back in town? Yo, baby, you have your asshole licked by a fat man in an overcoat?
You're listening to Outlaw Radio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Outlaw Radio and USAC, the United South Africa Coalition. Go to usac.center for more information. My next guest is on hold, but before I get to him, it's time to reveal
The Outlaw Radio Idiot of the Week.
The Outlaw Radio Idiot of the Week is just basically a typical Twitter troll. I believe from South Africa. This idiot is always posting dick pics on his profile. The Twitter handle is Closet Samsa. C-L-O-S-I... Let me double check the spelling. No, C-L-O-S-E-T-S-A-M-Z-A. What a piece of retarded work this guy really is. Of course, there was a horrific farm murder in South Africa of a couple. I can't remember exactly where. And once the news was posted, he had some not so nice things to say, and he's going on with this bullshit about land thieves and all that. But if you can avoid the dick pics all over his profile, just go see the shit that he says, and obviously he looks up to the likes of Jacob Zuma and Carl Niehaus. So, and that speaks volumes for itself. What a nice guy. Anyway, it is time to get to our next segment. Outlaw Radio Conservative Talk, and I'm pissed off and I got a lot to say.
Outlaw Radio, Conservative Talk.
I just want to tell you that America is the greatest place on earth. We will make America great again.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route and how fast.
Outlaw Radio, Conservative Talk starts now.
All right, my guest this week is none other than the Hawk himself. Craig Montgomery, it's been a while. How you been?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
All right. It looks like I'm going to have to adjust your volume on this side here. Hopefully there we go. All right. So it's been a while since you've been on the show, but things have been happening. And first off, a bit of good news. Craig, you might want to check your Twitter and see if the Hodge twins are following you, because they just put up a post saying if we're looking for more conservatives to follow, tag your friends. And of course, I tagged Hawk in that post, and sure enough, I got a follow back from the Hodge twins, so I got to do this. And if you've ever watched the Hodge twins, just go to their YouTube channel, or don't go to their Facebook because they're being censored for being the consummate conservatives that they are. But go check out their YouTube while it's still up. And you can see some very funny stuff and how they really take it to the left. I mean, Craig, you've seen the Hodge twins.
Yeah, they're hilarious, those two.
Yes, two black conservatives, obviously in great shape, because if they're not on stage or not on YouTube clowning the liberals, they're in the gym working out. Yeah,
I enjoy the how they ride it on each other and finish each other's sentences, and it's funny as hell.
Yes, indeed. Did they follow you back too?
I am not sure. I need to go check. Let me just check here quickly and see if they did.
See if they did. Let's check that really quick since I tagged you in that post.
I got to get back in there and see where I am. Yeah, I have no idea, buddy. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, because I tagged a few people, and you were one of them.
All right, sounds great.
Yes. All right, so things that are going on. I mean, I kind of stirred up some shit, Craig. I got to admit. There's a Black Lives Matter chapter in Boise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're on Twitter. I sent them a message telling them to get the fuck out. We don't need their filth in our state, and no more than we need the filth that was up north. You know, the neo-Nazis that were up north.
Black Lives Matter stands for, it stands for burn, loot, and murder.
Yeah, exactly. And I said it last week, you know, I'd respect them a lot more if Black Lives Matter actually mattered to blacks, because they don't say a fucking thing about black on black crime in Chicago and Los Angeles and like
30 murders in Chicago every weekend, and most of them are children, and most of them are black on black violence with drive-by shootings, and they're killing kids there. And the mayor, what's her name, Beetlejuice, she's blaming the conservative whites and Trump for what's going on and not doing her job. And the police don't go into there, and there's no demonstrations by Black Lives Matter to control that. And Black Lives Matter is just a communist organization in.
Yes. I mean, so it's trending on Twitter too. # Black Lives Don't Matter to Blacks. Obviously. I mean, because if they did, you know, I mean, remember that idiot mayor in Chicago. I mean, God, she's about as brain dead as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I don't know who's more brain dead, but you know, she says that she wants to blame conservatives for this, saying that she wants to blame Trump for this, for the black on black crime. Okay, wasn't it 1991 where I saw a movie called Boys in the Hood, where the very beginning of it said something about over 1,000 black people will be murdered in major cities and most of it at the hands of another black person.
Well, the statistics don't lie. The 90% of the people shot by cops in the United States are white. On the black and black violence, it's almost 90% black against black. There's 2% white cops shoot black people, and most of the rest of that is black on black violence. This is throughout the world, actually. So it's just an excuse. Now in America today, they've had a black president, they've had black mayors, black senators, black doctors, black, and there's no more excuse for what is actually happening. As far as I'm concerned, Black Lives Matter is just a organization that was funded by Soros, as well as the Antifa group, basically to cause anarchy and upheaval before the elections. What should happen is it should be classed as a terrorist organization, urban terrorism terrorist organization, and Homeland Security should arrest every single one of the leadership. They should also find out who is funding them, and whoever's funding them is responsible for all the damage that has been taking place throughout the United States. Therefore, a civil suit of massive millions and billions of dollars should be laid at the feet of Soros and whoever else funds them. Apparently, almost every company in the United States is actually funding Black Lives Matter through there's some clause that certain tax money or I don't know how it works. I've seen the document. It states that almost every company in the United States is actually giving them money, unbeknownst.
There's one other factor too, and I'm pretty sure that Soros is behind this. I'm going to use an analogy here, Craig. I remember when the movie G.I. Joe came out, and I really enjoyed it. The ancestor of the character Destro, well, he was caught selling weapons. There was a war going on, and he was caught selling weapons to both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And going over to each side and pretending that he's on their side. And then they found him, and they made an example of him is what they did. They didn't kill him. They made an example of him, and they burned a mask onto his face, and he had to wear it in shame the rest of his life. And well, he carried on to the next generation of making weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I think where I'm going with this is I think George Soros is also funding corrupt police officers. And the reason why I say this is because there are protests that are turning violent, and you're not hearing about this on CNN, some of them are turning violent by the police, by the police not even saying stop, whatever, just going in, shooting and whatever, and I know there's some things that need to be done by the police and that their job is difficult and dangerous, but a lot of the police themselves are starting the riots, and that should be proven right there with George Floyd, because George Floyd was a loose end. Of course, he was high on fentanyl and had an extensive criminal history. That cop didn't need to have his knee on the back of his neck, but at the same time, they're both involved in a money laundering scheme. Mm-hmm. And George Floyd is nothing more than a loose end that needs to be tied up. But I'm thinking also that we got Soros funding the other side, and we got to be careful of who we're standing in battle against when the time comes, because civil war is coming, and we got to gear up and get ready. But now we also got to be leery of who's going to be carrying the sword in battle at our side, and make sure that they don't get behind us and stick that sword in the back.
Generally, the cops are pretty good, but there's always a bad egg in there. And the problem with the police today is the police unions cover up too much when you have a bad cop, and this tends to be a problem. The problem with a lot of times too is if there's one bad cop, he influences another one and another one, and in the end they're all guilty because of association. And because one didn't tell on the other one, they got blackmail on them. So it ends up being they stand together as thick as thieves, and nothing gets done. The cop does it again and again and again. Now, the George Floyd case, I believe George Floyd was literally assassinated deliberately to shut him up. He stole some money and he was put down. And that will pan out years from now as to what really happened there. I truly hope that, and I can only pray that you know, if the law does not prevail, we have no law.
Indeed.
And I can only hope that logical minds prevail. I am also praying that, and I believe it's going to happen, that Trump will be reelected and God help them all. Having said that, because he's a lame duck president now, if he's reelected, he has nothing to lose. He can clean house. The thing I kind of makes me laugh is I think that this whole thing is rigged, because what person in their right mind would put Joe Biden in there as the running as a candidate for presidency when he's as dumb as two bricks right now? He don't know where he is every day. And then they put Kamala Harris in there, who's an outright communist, who's a complete racist. I think they set that up for them to fail. They
did. I think, it doesn't matter whether Trump's going to win or lose. The situation is going to get a little bit worse, but then Trump's going to really put his foot down after the election. But the mail-in voting makes me nervous. There's an absentee ballot, I understand that, but this mail-in voting?
No, yeah, it's a fraud voting is what's happening. I don't agree with it. I think every single citizen in the United States that needs to vote needs to go to the polling booths, take out his ID, prove who he is as a citizen, and vote. And there should be auditors standing by the boxes. One box goes to one party, one box goes to the other party, and how you step out of that door is where you drop your vote.
I agree wholeheartedly there.
And nobody's allowed to open those boxes unless there is auditors there that are above board, because I put nothing past the Democratic Party in stealing this election, just like they tried to do with Hillary Clinton. The fact that Hillary Clinton's emails have now surfaced, I hope they lock her up.
Well, shit. Joe Biden is not only is he suffering from dementia and whatnot, but do we really want to put a pedophile in the White House?
Exactly.
So you got two scenarios here. You got Trump saying grab him by the pussy, and then you have Joe Biden with video footage of him all over these kids.
Not only that, I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't there with Epstein on that island, along with old Billy Boy.
Oh, yeah, and Obama's been seen there, too.
Mm-hmm. They're all involved in it. They're all involved. They all need to go to the happy house and be put away.
See, and look how they're trying to corrupt our kids these days, Craig. They had a stripper dancing on a pole. She wasn't fully nude. She had a really skimpy bikini on, but she's dancing on a pole in front of fucking 4-year-olds.
No, here's another thing too. California just passed a law. I think it was Prop 1.
Oh, for age of 14. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But it was twisted. It was twisted by the media. It's basically saying that it was basically for gay men, where a 17-year-old can have sex with a adult man of over 18 with regards to anal sex and oral sex.
Okay.
The reason they did that is because they were trying to protect a gay man from having sex with his boyfriend. But by doing such a thing, it now becomes a all sex law because it refers to anal sex and oral sex of any human, without being discriminative of what human it is. So now it's okay to have oral sex and anal sex with a 14-year-old of any persuasion, so meaning girl or boy.
I want to puke. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Here's the thing I've always said right from the beginning. I've said this from the beginning. I said the day they marry same-sex humans, they will have people come to court and proposition the government to change the law that they can marry their goat or their sheep or their dog or their donkey or their horse.
Yeah, they'll probably push for bestiality, I'm sure.
Exactly. It's coming. Listen, once you open that door,
You open the floodgate.
every depravity that man can ever devise. And as far as I'm concerned, I can tell you right now, before my life is over, I will see a law passed that it's okay to marry my goat, and they want medical insurance and pensions for my goat because I'm in love with my goat and I just married it. I can tell you that's coming.
Okay. Well, I kind of figured it was coming because you may not know about this. You live in Utah. Well, there's something that I have a lot of friends who are LDS, so I'm not going to bag on them too bad. But in the ancient days of their religion, which was the 1800s, of course, they believed in one thing that also is in Islam and in other cultures across the world. Polygamists came forth right after the law was passed that it was okay for same-sex marriages in all 50 states. Right after that passed by the Supreme Court, polygamists were coming forward. And that to me is so dangerous because here's what I think it goes hand in hand with what I'm about to tell you now. I mean, I don't think we have too much to worry about the LDS if they get their polygamy rights, good for them. I could care less, to be honest with you. But Islam, the way they're teaching their hateful ways, a friend of mine told me that the way they will genocide us, and I don't mean as white people, I mean those of us who are not, especially those of us who are not Muslim. Their plan is, to get polygamy legal in the United States and then breed us out of existence little by little. Makes sense?
They're already doing it in Illinois. They're doing it in Chicago. They're doing it everywhere. They're coming in with 6 wives. 90% of them are on welfare. None of them are working. They're doing it everywhere, and so are the Mormons. So are the Mormons because legally they can only marry one woman, and the rest of them are single mothers with 20 kids who are now on welfare. And that's how they're making money, and that's how they're surviving.
But at least the Mormons aren't like, well, if you don't believe in my God and worship in my ways, you need to die. I'll give them that.
That's true.
I mean, I
wanted to become a polygamist because I wanted a wife on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Saturday, I'm going to go see my girlfriend. And then Sunday, go get forgiven.
Yeah. So it's the agenda that they're really trying to push on us, and and other things happening too. I mean, God, and I got to tell you, I lived in Portland, Oregon when I was, between the ages of 10 and 12.
Nah.
It was a rough city then. But compared to what it is now, holy shit.
Yeah, it's gone completely crazy. To be honest with you, I was the president of the United States, and if I was Trump, the minute he's reelected, I would literally just pull the National Guard and send them in there and clean house. I would arrest every single one of the Antifa leaders and Black Lives Matter leaders and lock them up. I would then trace the money back to where the source is. The Black Lives leaders would be arrested. They would be also sued to the hilt for all the damages from all the cities throughout the United States in a massive lawsuit by the government against them for the damages. Because if these are peaceful demonstrations based on their organizations, they are liable for all the damages, all the statues that have been damaged, all the violations. And that's another thing, statues. Listen, they wanted to take down Lincoln's statue. This shows you the ignorance of these people. It's not them. This is deliberate anarchists who want to bring the United States to its knees. Now, the conservative mom and pop that's sitting at home saying, we're sick of this nonsense, they don't want to get involved because they don't want to be beaten up or identified, need to just go to the polls when it comes to election day and vote this president back in and vote for conservative law. If the law does not prevail, you have no law. If these kids think it's okay to throw acid into 6 policemen's eyes and blind them, then these people need to be put down and put down hard. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, if it was me, every single one of these leaders would be in Guantanamo Bay and they would be telling me what I need to know. And I would trace every single bank transfer or amounts that were made. Who's ever giving them money will be held accountable for the damage to the United States. And believe me, I would get every single business owner in the United States to sign up to this lawsuit against Black Lives Matter and Antifa and hold them accountable for billions. And every single person that was involved in that can't be identified who belong to this organization will also be responsible to pay the damages back. This will stop immediately.
Craig, what do you think of Kyle Rittenhouse? You know, I kind of have a couple of mixed feelings, but when it comes to Kyle Rittenhouse, I read over some stuff because my view on it was at first, did Kyle Rittenhouse defend himself? Absolutely, and he did what he had to do. Did he need to be there in the first place was a questionable mark, but yeah, he did. At first I thought he didn't really need to be there in the first place. He was going there because he knew we were in a war. He wasn't going there with the intent of committing murder. He was there defending his brothers and sisters because he knew they were in trouble.
From what I can gather, one of the business owners had asked for people to come and help him because his store was getting attacked. 2 other stores have already been burnt down, and they raced over there to help them and walked right into a nightmare. They immediately attacked him. That kid had no choice. Had they knocked him out, he'd be dead right now.
Yeah, he'd be another statistic that people be praising their killers. Well, yeah, we got the people he killed. He killed a pedophile, a person with a long history of domestic abuse, and the other I don't know.
So they've already killed 2 people. They killed a guy in Dallas, Texas. When was the beginning of this year? Black Lives Matter kicked the guy he asked him to stop attacking the store, and they kicked him to death right there in front of a store. Young guy, killed him, white guy.
Oh, but we're not going to hear about that.
They killed another guy just the other day Same thing. Knocked him to the floor and kicked him to death.
You know, and when it comes to knocking to the floor and kicking to death, I only know of one other group that does that, Craig. And you know who that is?
MS-13.
No. Neo-Nazi skinheads.
There we go.
That's what they pride themselves on, putting on steel-toe boots and kicking black people while they're down.
Yep.
And you got Black Lives Matter copying them, basically, because I know they're putting on boots.
As far as I'm concerned, if anybody puts any color forward of any organization, they are guilty of being racist. I don't care what you say. If you've got black awards, black lawyers, black TV awards, black TV, Black Month or History Month or anything like that, as far as I'm concerned, that is racism.
You know,
it's racism. I don't care. I don't go around saying I want my white month. I don't go around saying I want my white something. I don't care.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, there's nobody in the United States of any color that has no right to do whatever they want to do. We've already had a black president twice. There's nothing more that you can get out of this country. And anyway, why do you care? What about the Indians in the United States? And as a fact, you are one of them. What's happened? Why isn't it where are your rights?
Exactly. You're bringing up one other thing that I want to bring up too, is there was Joe Rogan had this big black guy on his podcast, and yeah, a big boy, and I wish I could remember his name. He's. I mean, like I said, he was a big boy. And he talked about how he wants to abolish Black History Month for the same reason they got rid of the Black Miss America pageant. He said the Black Miss America pageant was necessary for the time because black women were not allowed into the Miss America pageant at the time, so they had to do something of their own. Yeah. Then as people became more open-minded, and they allowed interracial relationships and things like that, which I do fully support. And finally someone stepped forward and saw that how beautiful black women can be too, and started inviting them into the Miss America pageant. So over time, they didn't need the Black Miss America anymore because black women have integrated into the up to the main stage.
There's no need for any of this now. It's just an excuse to divide the nation by race, by color, and by religion. It is any excuse to divide the country by any means. And through this racist idea, as far as I'm concerned, when they ask for reparations, I laugh about this. I literally tell them, you have no right to ask for that. Because during the Civil War, when they took a statue down of Robert E. Lee. Now, Robert E. Lee, if you read your history, was the one that said, free the slaves first, and we won't have this war. Give them their freedom and let them go. It was the North that said no, and Lincoln had slaves.
Mm-hmm.
The Emancipation document or declaration or whatever was a political ploy to help Lincoln get reelected. Now you got to realize something too, that during that Civil War, over 500,000 men, women, and soldiers died during that conflict for the freedom of black people. Now, during that period, too, people don't realize that only 1.4% of the entire country of the United States owned slaves. 1.4%. How many people were in the United States at that time? Secondly, in Gettysburg in 3 days in a field no bigger than a football field, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
54,000 men died in a river of blood for the freedom of black people in the United States. Would they do the same for me and you?
Well, just look at what they've done to their own monuments. They went to the monument of the 54th Regiment, 54th Massachusetts Regiment, which was, if you ever watched the movie Glory with
Yes. Yeah.
it's that they vandalized the monument to their own soldiers who fought for the freedom they think they don't have.
As we've gone through history, it doesn't matter where we go, even in South Africa, people have been given their freedom, right? And they've abused it. They've abused it.
See, that's the thing, is freedom comes with a responsibility. Yes. And Craig, I hate to say this, but we are out of time. And I'm going to get to my next music set. But before we do, why don't you go ahead and plug your social media?
Just call me Hawk on YouTube.
All
That's
right.
the truth from the Hawk.
No problem. And you were asking yesterday, I mean, yeah, the show's already recorded, so you have the permission.